now, from the HBO Real Sports Studio in New York, your host, Brian Gumbel.
Good evening and welcome to Real Sports, where we begin tonight not with football or baseball, but with the issue of same-sex unions. What's that got to do with sports, you ask? Well, for two women in California, it has everything to do with their love of golf and their love for each other. You see, these two women are claiming that their golf club has singled them out for discrimination simply because they're lesbians, and they're fighting back. In so doing, they've put themselves on the front lines of a cultural battle that shows no signs of ending anytime soon. Armin Katan has a report.
It is a Monday night in the middle of September, and Koebke, as she does every Monday night, is on her way to play golf. Her club in North San Diego County is between work and home, and on nights like this, there is nothing she'd rather be doing. But Koebke, who used to be one of the most popular players here at Bernardo Heights Country Club, now plays alone, a pariah at a place she used to call home.
I tee off like 6:30 and I'm done at 8:30. Play 18 holes by myself.
You play by yourself
and
now.
You know, that's fine, as long as I get to play the game.
But it's gotten to the point where you have to go on a Monday night and you're playing by yourself.
Yeah, that's what it turned into.
What it has turned into is the state of California's very own Augusta, a culture war where once again a golf course has become the battleground for social change. This time over the civil rights of same-sex couples, with Koebke and her partner, Kendall French, leading a fight they spent years trying to avoid.
We're gay, but, you know, we don't identify ourselves as gay women. We're human like everybody else.
We really felt that there was a compromise somewhere.
Yeah. We're not politically driven. We're not activists. We don't have an agenda. Let us play golf and let's get on with life.
Koebke and French have lived together since 1993, and being active has long been a big part of their relationship. They are each other's sole beneficiaries and are registered with the state as domestic partners.
It's as close as we can get to being married in the state of California.
But since they are not legally married, club bylaws state that Koebke and French are not entitled to the same free and unlimited golfing privileges as straight couples who are. So even though Koebke is a full member, she can only play with French 6 times a year and has to pay a $75 guest fee each and every time.
If you were married, if you had married a man...
Right, then I would have had full privileges, unlimited golf for the spouse and the children.
And that's the difficulty.
You give us a criteria that we can never meet.
Right.
Ever.
And that's not all. According to the bylaws, when Koebke dies, her equity stake in the club, that is, the $18,000 she spent to join Bernardo Heights in 1987, can only be willed to a legal spouse or child.
I have a piece of real property that I can't use with Kendall, nor if I die could I give it to her.
But they were never saying you couldn't be a member.
They were willing to sell Kendall a membership.
Right. What married couple in that club would like to pay twice for the membership and twice for the dues? To me, that's economic discrimination.
Right.
So in 1996, Koebke set about to see if she could get the club to change its rules. Her initial proposal, a significant other policy that also addressed the concerns of several of the older members at the club.
I figured if they would let widows and widowees and the other single members have a buddy system, then we could just slide underneath that and we wouldn't have to make it gay, because I know that made it uncomfortable for them and we didn't even want to go there.
The board of directors considered Koebke's suggestion and even presented it to the full membership, but not before making one key change. To qualify as a significant other, the person had to be of the opposite sex of the member.
And that really took the wind out of our sails. You know, it has to be of the opposite sex. And so, okay, there's no way that we're going to...
They were targeting us. They knew we couldn't get there.
What do you think the club was so afraid of?
I think that this would appear to them that if they allowed us, they were making a moral decision, that now they are in favor of homosexuality.
Koebke and French have not always been outsiders at Bernardo Heights. A successful TV executive in San Diego, B had become one of the best players at the club. She and French, who is a customer care executive in the auto industry, entertained clients at Bernardo Heights and played regularly with other members.
Well, there'd be as many as 20 of us having dinner at the bar and having fun, and we were very much a part of it.
Did people suspect you were gay? Did anybody ever say anything? I mean, was it well known?
Oh, yeah. Everybody knew we were.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, they knew that we were together.
We never hid our lifestyle. We didn't flaunt it. I always introduced Kendall as my life partner.
We all had golf in common. So it was very social. And, you know, that's always nice when you can feel included in anything.
The more French and Koebke pushed, the less popular they became. Over a 4-year period, they repeatedly lobbied the board to change its rules. Finally, in the middle of 2001, they decided to file a lawsuit, claiming they were discriminated against.
The turning point for me was when they sent us a letter and said that Bernardo Heights has always prided itself at being a family-oriented club. And boy, I looked at Kendall, I said, wow, you know, we're a family. And that single sentence to me, that made me very angry. It's like, how dare you?
At that point, did you understand what you were up against?
Yes. Not till then. That letter made it really clear. It's like, Kendall, we're not wanted.
Once they found out that I was friends with B, that's when they started changing the rules for me.
Before the lawsuit, Jeff O'Connor regularly brought his family to Bernardo Heights. But that changed when the club realized that even though O'Connor listed his partner, Jody, on his application as his spouse, they are not married. O'Connor confronted a club official about his situation.
Specifically, what did he tell you?
He told me that there was several couples that were playing at the course that were not married, and that B and Kendall just had not found out that information yet.
They didn't know about the fact that there were other couples that were in a similar situation to what they were in.
Yes. He said, Jeff, when this all gets over, then it'll go back for you for that as well. I just decided that I didn't want to be part of that. So.
While that official denies saying anything of the kind, O'Connor says he left the club in protest. Feeling more and more isolated, Koebke made a personal appeal directly to her fellow members at a well-attended meeting.
I stood up with my knees knocking. I was nervous, and I said, I am really sorry. We're at this point. I said, Kendall and I are gay. You know, we were born gay. This isn't something we choose. And please find it in your heart. Some of you must know someone that's gay. I said, all we want to do is play golf together.
And what is the reaction to you standing up?
Nothing. That really, I got to tell you, that broke my heart. You know, I'm a 44-year-old woman at the time. I feel like I'm 2 years old begging for acceptance, and they're still saying, you know, no, we don't want your kind.
But I mean, you could look at it and say, you know what, ladies, this is not the back of the bus. This is not a lunch counter. This is not the workplace.
Right.
This is you just want to play golf.
Right.
Play golf someplace else. It's not that big of a deal.
I had to look myself in the mirror 10 years later and say, boy, they pushed us out, or they scared us away, and I just couldn't run away.
In June 2002, 13 months after Koebke and French filed their lawsuit, a San Diego Superior Court delivered its decision, throwing the case out, saying in effect there was no need to go to trial because there was no evidence of discrimination.
We were just shocked, like, wait a minute, how could this just go away?
How did this happen?
Right.
How did they get away with discriminating against us?
We wanted to talk to officials at Bernardo Heights Country Club about the case, but they declined our repeated requests. The club did provide their attorney, John Shiner, to explain its legal position.
I want to make very clear that Bernardo Heights Country Club has been fully compliant with the law because the law permits that distinction between those who are legally married, a union between a man and a woman, and those who are not legally married, regardless of their sexual orientation.
I guess if you listen to Kendall and to B, you will hear them say, well, we're a family just like anybody else. We own joint property together. We're in each other's wills. We do all the things that a husband and wife would do. Why not just open the door and let them in then?
Well, I understand that argument, and they've raised that before, and they're articulate, and they have raised it on a number of occasions in my presence and elsewhere. A club, a society, an association has the choice, so long as the choice that they make is compliant with the law.
And it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
But just when Koebke and French thought their case was dead in the water, the controversy caught the attention of the Lambda Legal Defense Fund, one of the most powerful gay rights groups in the country.
When an organization like Lambda gets involved, I think it sends a message to the other side that the gay community thinks this is an important issue and that we're going to fight it till we win.
John Davidson is one of Lambda's top litigators and is handling Koebke and French's appeal. free of charge.
Mr. Shiner says, and I'll quote, "This has absolutely nothing to do with sexual orientation."
You know, he keeps saying that, and I find it very strange. B and Kendall cannot get the benefits that married people are given by this club because they're two lesbians. How could that not have something to do with sexual orientation?
What Davidson also understood when Lambda took this case was that it could touch a nerve.
Till death do we part. Till death do we part.
That set against the highly charged backdrop of the gay marriage debate.
Marriage is a civil right.
In the middle of a presidential election. This case was clearly about more than just golf.
Because the union of a man and woman deserves an honored place in our society, I support the protection of marriage against activist judges.
Because same-sex couples can't get married, they're treated unequally in many respects, in taxes, in inheritance, in what happens when one of them gets sick or dies. What it's ultimately about is, when is it okay for businesses to treat people differently?
It's almost 10 years now since B. Koebke first started asking for change at her country club. When they play together these days, it's only at other clubs in the San Diego area.
Ow!
But one way or the other, the controversy may be finally coming to a head. After a partial victory at the appellate level in March, the California State Supreme Court has agreed to hear the case.
You know, they're really kind of like the accidental activists. This wasn't something they intended to make a cause celeb. They really just wanted to play golf.
You know, there's been so many changes in history, and this is just one more change that will take time, and the people that are so adamant against it will have to one day come to terms with that we're American citizens, and that we're protected under the Constitution just like everybody else.
Supreme Court, California has the case. What happens if you win?
Be huge. Be a big deal.
We'll go play golf together.
Yeah.
Will you go to the club?
Absolutely. Sure. That would be the best round of golf I
Yeah.
think we'll ever have.
Armin, since this country remains bitterly divided over the matter of gay unions, should we assume that the policies of Bernardo Heights is pretty much the norm, not that unusual?
Well, right now it's a hot button issue around the country. Certainly at country clubs across the country, they're watching this case very carefully right now. The study that we've seen by the trade group says there's about 23% of the country clubs around the country have some sort of significant other policy. So they're looking at Bernardo Heights to see where that policy may move.
Well, I was going to say, if the club allowed these women those privileges, what's to stop, for example, if you and I are roommates, and we're straight, and we're single members, of just saying, hey, one membership will do for the both of us?
Well, I think that the word threshold is, the legal threshold is do we own property together? Am I in your will? Which I wouldn't mind actually being in your will. But, you know, there's certain legal criteria involved in a decision like that. So it's not a black and white issue.
Is changing clubs a realistic option for these women?
Well, I think it is, yeah. I think right now in the state of California, I think what's significant in this case, what's at stake here is that in the state of California right now, there are certain protections against discrimination involving sex or gender or race or religion, sexual orientation, things of that nature. The big question here is, will that protection be extended to people whether he or she are legally married or not?
It's going before the California Supreme Court, as you said. When should we expect a decision to be rendered?
Well, we believe that it'll go before the court sometime next year, and it's anybody's guess right now what the court will decide.
Obviously, we'll update it. Okay. Armin, thanks very much.